Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha. Uh, I tell you what, internet down and I can't, post things up on the channels and stuff, big files. Sure makes you kind of uh, introspect and give you some time to chill out and think and stuff like that. And, one of the things I started thinking about is, how difficult it is to stay or be positive. And I'm not even talking about because of today, the way things are today. Life stress has been around since, geez, probably since we had the capacity to deal with it or not. Back in the caveman days, one bigger caveman had all the food and stuff, and all the other little cavemen had to work and stressed out over their, dinosaurs going to eat them or saber-toothed tigers. Life stress just shifts, obviously with technology changes in life and just how we've been, especially the last 100 some odd years. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just or a philosopher or anything. Obviously, I'm just kind of sharing some things here. But one of the things that I just started about 2 weeks ago is I opened up this other channel. It was a project I did announce a few weeks ago on the main channel that I was going to be having some fun. And it's really focused on ambient sounds and meditation and, just, 1 hour, hour and a half pieces of music with water behind it and really nice videos, that I've pulled from stock footage, so people could play in their office, right? Or at home and you do background work, if you're into that sort of stuff. There are a couple tracks that are kind of the chill, steppy kind of vibe, some of which you've heard here on this channel. I've repurposed on that one. Anyhow, so let me get down to the real thought of what I was, wanting to express here, this little stream of consciousness. The word meditation, I think to a lot of people, if you're not familiar with it, kind of brings on this kind of woo-woo, spacey, like, I don't know how to receive that, in general, the brand of people who meditate, I'm saying in general, when people I've, talked to about it and stuff is, free-flowing people and people that wear a certain type of clothes and they're very, hey, what's up, and very, unconcerned with the rest of the world or anything like that. It might be because of internet branding, excuse me, or when we see people that meditate, they sit in a particular pose and or they align their chakras and stuff. And you have to kind of have a sense of understanding and kind of a belief in that the power of meditation or the power of being quiet for moments at a time, no matter what the process you use, is powerful. I think the term meditation, and then you think of chakras and you think of Reiki and you think of all the other modalities that go with it, can be, I think, a little bit of, if you don't get past what I would say level one, barrier to entry, pop culture stereotypical branding. If you don't get past that, I could see how a lot of people are like, oh, that's weird shit. I don't know, what does that know? What is this, like, you got to sit like this, put your fingers like this, and what in that, I can understand that. I think the point of this video is, though, while I go through this, new project, it's not new to me writing music for meditation. I don't meditate in the traditional way. How I find myself meditating, believe it or not, is when I focus on the one thing that I love to do, which is, for me, surfing. And for many people, it's a lot of things. You'd be surprised that when I explain this to some people, I say, well, what do you do on the weekends? Oh, I love to turn clay. My neighbor loves to make clay pots and stuff. And I go, you're meditating. And she goes, well, how do you see that? He goes, well, because you are completely focused on something. Nothing around that anxieties you out, stresses you out, affects you. So because you're focused and you're focused on a creative process, you're making the clay bowls or whatever that you're doing, and you've got to be, sometimes that can be stressful, right? You blow it, if you're a wood carver, if you're a mechanic, or if you do something, or even with my surfing, it can be a moment of stress if something goes wrong. But in general, I think that's probably one of the biggest forms of current forms of meditation that's misunderstood, is when you are focused on something that you love to do. Even like I said, if you're woodshedding, if you're playing guitar or bass or drums or piano or flute or oboe, clarinet, violin, viola, French horns, whatever it is that you do, when you close that door or when you get yourself set up and you practice, you are practicing a form of meditation because it's focus. I know that there's people that say, well, that's not really what meditation is. Meditation is finding an inner peace and a space inside so that you can release that, negative energies and stuff like that. And I totally understand that. And I totally have had the opportunity to experience some of that. And it is kind of cool, kind of I would have to say kind of in a neurological, non-toxic drug kind of way, is to kind of chill out and see if you can get yourself in that space. But I don't sit in the pose. I don't turn my hands up and stuff. Matter of fact, a couple of guys and gals that I've talked to about meditation and stuff, they themselves are like, you don't have to close your eyes. You know, just kind of, even if you keep them open a little bit, you know, just focus on the one thing, as long as the purpose is to get you to just chill out and breathe, you know. And then recently I just got through helping this one client of mine that I do some side work. You know, I help people build websites and whatever, and with their assets, and help them with their creativity. This one book that just came out that he did was meditation hacks, which I thought was a really great idea, where there's these things where you do within 5 to 10 seconds, and at least in the moment of being like raged or something, that you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and recenter. Even if you want to continue that darker energy and get it out, sometimes if you're overly raged, overly fearful, overly angry, then you lose that kind of composure, that you don't make the decisions as easily as you could be if you were slightly a little chilled out, you know. So, but you know, meditation can be whatever it is that you want it to be, as long as you just find those moments to be peaceful, you know. There's a lot of us who are alone all the time, a lot of us who are isolated a lot, and you would think, well, I'm isolated, I'm alone all the time, I must be meditating, or I must be in a form of meditation. No, we're talking in our head, and our monkey brain is going and stuff. And for me, I think one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is I found myself, for the very first time, I've written tons of meditation music for projects and clients and stuff. But this new thing, I think it's called the Tranquil Mind channel. I'll put the link down below if you're just slightly curious. And I listened, there's one that I just did, which is, I think, really nice, super cool little house in a forest with some fireflies and some sounds of rain and music behind it. I'm thinking, okay, well, this is nice. It seems to be what's trending and stuff. And, you know, I'm a little late to the game here, but I have the capacity to write that music, and to do that, why not have some fun? All of a sudden I find myself listening to it, not because it's my own stuff, but there's something to be said about, you know, white noise, ocean, water, rain, a little bit of music and stuff, that even while you're working, it has this little bit of this kind of soft kind of like, this kind of feels kind of cool, you're chilling. Or for that matter, depending on what you choose to watch, you know, some people will do like coffee house music, and in the background there's coffee and a fireplace crackling or something like that. Sometimes, especially those of us who work on our own, or who are alone and at home and by yourselves and don't have companions or family or something, you know, sometimes you reach out for a little bit of that stuff. And so, you know, for me, that's what this channel's been. I have zero expectations of the channel, except for the fact that I get to say to my grandkids, hey, you know, when my time comes, Abba did this here for you as well, you know. So it's kind of that legacy thing. But I think the meditative aspect of it was pretty powerful, and it kind of took me aside. I was like, and I also did, well, I just released that thing on my channel about what was it? Alone in Space, The Last Surfer. Well, I actually did reduced mixes and stretched that out to about 15, 18 minutes on the new channel, just to kind of loop music through it, just have a little fun. And because I can be creative that way, because I have time on my hands right now. Anyhow, thank you guys for hanging out. Have a killer weekend. Like to hear your thoughts if you're still here. You know, what do you do, without using the word meditation, but what do you do to center yourself? You know, that kind of thing. All right, guys, listen, have a killer weekend. Have a killer everything that you want to bring to yourself. Positively, that is. All right, guys, take care. Aloha.